Hello, so today we're going to go be ahead and discussing role shifting. Now, you probably know a little bit about role shifting already because you've used it before in constructive structure. So hopefully you remember what that is. So for example, remember I would say there's flowers here and there's plants there. Which one do I like more? Flowers, right? So that was role shifting. When I set up the flowers, I role shifted to my right, and then when I set up the plants, I role shift to the left. And to set up those two things to really help show this separation. Now, for role shifting itself and what we're going to be doing today, it's a little bit different. When we were using constructive structure, our shoulders were going outwards. So when I was setting something up to the right, my left shoulder was in the front. And when I set something up to the left, my right shoulder was up in the front. So you really couldn't see the midpoint of my body because so much was covering. What we're going to be doing today is the opposite. So we're going to be role shifting inwards, you could say. And so we're doing this typically in ASL when we're talking about people and we're trying to show you what they said. So in English, we typically said, he said, she said, like, oh my God, let me tell you. And we wouldn't really, role shift and say, he said. And so this is typically for two people, and I can just go ahead and change my body orientation to tell you what those people were saying, because those people aren't here and I want to tell you the story about what happened yesterday. And again, in English we typically would say he said, she said, but in ASL we actually just become the person. So now I'm the boy, now I'm the girl in this conversation of what happened yesterday, and so I kind of just become them. And I change who I am. So I can be narrator, I can become the actor, I can become the person, I can become the character. And so this is the example we're going to work on today. And I know it's a lot, but when you're doing role shifting work, it typically will be a lot. And so we'll work through this together. So the first thing we know, we got time. We know time is always going to come in front. It's always the first thing. Whenever we can, it's going to set up the tense. So funny, I don't have enough signs. I don't know where some of my signs went. I thought I had more. So I will have to actually write some things today. So just please bear with me on how much it takes for me to write all of this. And we're going to go ahead and add the sign for name. Again, just to give the heads up to the person we're talking to let them know that, hey, some finger spelling is coming at them. We're just going to shorthand Amber, and yeah. And so now that we've had my friend Amber, we're then going to go ahead and set her up. And let's take a step back for a moment. If this has been confusing so far and you're like, contrastive structure, what are you talking about? It's probably best to pause this video, go find the contrastive structure grammar videos, watch those. And then once you understand and you feel confident in understanding what contrastive structure is, then come back to this videos, because those are really the basics to be able to understand what we're doing here with role shifting. And so we've gone ahead and set up Amber. So my friend named Amber, set her up on the right. I am right-handed, so I'd always set her up on the right first. There are some instances where I would do the left first, but that's more advanced. And so the next person I'll go ahead and set up on the left, and that's going to be my brother. Again, bear with me with, I have some signs, I don't have some other signs. So we do have to add name. Again, adding name to give that heads up of, hey, some finger spelling is going to come up at you. Don't want to cut them off guard. So up on the left for the brother. And now I can tell you what they were saying. So again, it's really important to first set them up so we know who the players are. And then we can start going ahead and be like, he said, she said, and all of those things. And I'm going to add some things to this. So I could just put the word tell on my gloss, or I can add this idea of R and L. And the reason why I would do that is because when I'm reading my gloss, there's so much going on. I really don't want to think about what is the direction that this sign needs to go. But if I add an R and an L, I can see, oh, it's going to start on the right and end on the left. And same with this idea of help, it's going to start on the left and end on the right. So it doesn't really matter where I am, what role shifting position I am. I just have to look at the R and the L's so I know it's going to start and where it's going to end. Now you can also do that with the person's name as well, but R and L is sometimes just more easy or easier. Okay, and then we have to add in the topic of history, right? Okay, There's just so much going on and there's not enough board space. Okay, so now let's get into this role shifting whole thing, setting things up. So we have my friend and we have my brother. I'm just going to skip over the finger spelling part. I role shift into, hold on. Right, so now I'm not just going to point, right? I'm going to go ahead and do the whole role shift. So my brother is first. He's going to be the first one to say something. Or I'm going to go ahead and role shift and move my whole body into where my brother was set up. And I'm not going to say he said, right? That's not needed. I don't need to sign that. I can just role shift and say tomorrow. Right, and that's it. I don't need to add anything. I don't need to say he said. I don't need to put a period. All you have to do in ASL is after you've set up a person is to move your body into that space that you put them, and that's it. And so we don't say she said, right? We're just going to go ahead and move our body all the way to the right side, right, where I set up the girl or my friend Amber, and say okay, and just sign okay. I don't need to say she said. I don't need to do anything else. So you don't need to point and then role shift either. Just role shift into that position, right? You already set up those two people. That's the whole purpose of setting people up and setting up ideas, is that you don't have to keep reiterating. So just go ahead and role shift. Hey, can you help me? Yeah, I can help you, right? If you notice, I wasn't pointing to them. I already told you who they were. So you need to remember, and you know that's Amber, and you know that's my brother, whatever his name is. And I set up the people, so all I need to do is start going into their positions, right? And that's it. I don't have to tell you, he said, she said, Amber said, Jason said. That's your job and the other person's job or people to understand that and remember that. Hello, how are you? La 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 la. A big warning though, many students do make some mistakes, and what they intend to sometimes do instead is they will role shift outwards. So when they mean to go to the right, they put their left shoulder, and it kind of looks like this. It looks like you're not looking at each other. So that's why I said earlier how when we first learned about contrastive structure, we learned about to role shift out. Now we're role shifting in. So make sure that you're facing inwards. And so the best thing to do is that if it's to the right, go to the right, right shoulder forward, left shoulder forward. So really make sure that you keep that in mind as you do everything. Right? So you're looking at the flowers, the bow ties, I don't know. Right? When you're role shifting, there's two people you're going to be role shifting in, but when you're role shifting and setting up like a comparison, like flowers versus bow ties, you role shift out. It's confusing. Just remember that you want to make sure that you're trying to do that eye contact. So in the next video, we'll go ahead and discuss this a little bit different example, and yeah.